Jacob, there's about to be a new Chick-fil-A. Jacob, I wish the people could hear you.
What is up with you people in this damn Chick-fil-A thing? It's a damn chicken sandwich. Oh, come on. Come on. I went to the...
For those who can't hear, Jacob's complaining about there not being a Chick-fil-A within 20 minutes of downtown.
There's
about to be one 5 minutes from downtown.
I went to the Walmart over there off of...
oh, yeah, you...
Whitten? Is it Whitten? I think it is Whitten.
That was such an enjoyable experience.
Which time? Wait, what happened?
I don't know. You went to a Walmart and you came back and you're like, have you been to a Walmart recently?
Oh, yeah, Memphis Walmarts. Is Walmart a sponsor of anything?
I don't think so.
Memphis Walmarts are atrocious.
Maybe a little bit. There's a lot of money there.
Memphis Walmarts are atrocious. Small town Walmarts, incredible. All the things that I buy from Walmart, I buy out of town when I'm in one of these like small podunk ass towns. Columbus, or not even Columbus, Georgia, Catala, Georgia, Jackson, Tennessee. Those Walmarts are incredible. The Memphis ones, I don't know, just odd. Anyways, I was at that Walmart this weekend, saw some cool things. So maybe they're getting a little bit better. But right there across from the Walmart, they're putting another damn Chick-fil-A up. How many Chick-fil-A's does one city need?
I looked up what it costs to like become an investor in a Chick-fil-A.
Like 60?
It starts at 60, but it goes up to like 150. I was like, I don't have that money.
What you got?
But if I did,
if you had 60,
feels like a solid investment.
You'd be a manager?
I just drove down Poplar yesterday, the one that's out by like Mendenhall.
What a terrible location for a Chick-fil-A.
The line for that Chick-fil-A, the fact that we just as a country, as a people, and by country I mean the country of Memphis, have agreed that the right lane of Poplar is just an extension of the drive-through line for Chick-fil-A is one of the more absurd things about this city.
And if you really want to get frustrated, the one on Summer, oh, it's awful.
Oh, yes,
that
was
the one on
the worst.
Summer is, oh boy, oh my goodness. I fear I'm going to wreck every single time I try and leave that Chick-fil-A location.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't even mess with it.
What was the song?
Heroes by Alesso.
Huh?
Heroes, ooh, we could be heroes. You,
by who?
You and I. Alesso. It's a nice little insuance track.
Yeah, it sounds like that could be a delete.
No!
That's what it sounds like to me.
We could be heroes.
You don't have to keep singing it.
That's a different hero song. I was just in my hero mood. I'm in a sing-songy mood today. What's up, everybody? It is Tuesday, August 19th. It is going to be a good day. Jessica Benson with you from the Grind City Media Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. CJ Hurt behind the glass. Coming up on today's show, big piece in the Daily Memphian this morning about how the city plans to keep the Memphis Grizzlies in Memphis. They gave a look inside the negotiations. Some excellent reporting by Sam Hardiman. We will go through all of that. Mike Wallace will join us in the second segment to continue that conversation. We'll talk about the Grizzlies schedule, some summertime Grizz stories as well. I watched a little NFL preseason football last night. Joe Burrow made me scream. Rich Eisen made me cry. We'll do some NFL news and notes. We'll do a little TV Tuesday, what we're watching. I'm just about finished with The Leftovers, and I think I am ready to declare it a top what show of all time. I will tell you, along with everything else that we are watching on TV. It is a Tuesday. We are making it through the week. You know what we say. Heroes.
I don't even know how to sing that song. We didn't get to talk, but that documentary on Katrina is the saddest thing I've watched all year.
I haven't been able to do it yet.
Oh, it is. I can't keep watching it.
The boys' time.
You ready? I've been ready. What are we waiting for?
The boy is mine.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
Going through the draft process the first time, they give you the answers to the test. Like, this is what you need to work on. This is what you do well.
They told you.
Yeah, like they tell you.
Here's what,
they
if
tell
you want to get
exactly.
drafted, here's what needs to happen.
Yeah, they tell you. So it's like, if you're not listening, it'll go right over your head. But for me, I made sure to soak up all information and everything possible so I can give myself the best shot.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
You get to the main event, and you hear the crowd. There's some rumblings in the crowd.
Here we go.
They say, "We want truth."
I love how John Cena said when they were chanting, "We want truth." You can't handle the truth.
There you go.
I loved it.
He takes the knee off, boom. Takes the mask off, boom. And it's our freaking truth. God, man, he cost John Cena the match.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Let's check the over-under totals. Alabama, Georgia, and Texas all at 9.5. LSU, Ole Miss, Tennessee at 8.5.
I love Ole Miss over the 8.5. I think Ole Miss can win 9.
But Ole Miss, they're gonna, Ole Miss, they're gonna lose to Arkansas week 3.
But they could go 9-3. Like Ole Miss winning 10 games
they always
is always
pull some
like
crap like that.
Ole Miss winning 10 can seem a bit of a stretch, but they can win 9.
They're gonna lose at Kentucky week 2.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Feels great to feel the sunshine. Gotta own the day like it's all mine. Just got paid in his own time. Been working hard, I've been on the grind. I deserve this feeling, having my way. I've been on this healing. This is my day. The sun's out. Let's have a little fun now. I wanna let it all out. That's what it's all about. Cause I deserve this feeling of having my way. I deserve this healing. This is my day.
Grind City Media presents The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt. Live from the Grind City Media studios on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful start to your week. Lots to get into today. Some NFL preseason action. Mike Wallace is going to join us in the second segment, but I did want to start today's show with a Daily Memphian article that dropped this morning. I opened my email today, as I do every single morning when I get up at the lovely crack of dawn around 4:45. And as always, one of my first emails every day is the Daily Memphian's morning edition, which is just sitting there in my inbox because it comes out at like 4 a.m. I get the commercial appeals too. I support all local journalism. Their morning briefing is great as well. And highly recommend both. Easy way to get the news. But Daily Memphians is always there first, along with like The Athletic and some Yahoo Sports. And anyway, this one caught my attention though, because the subject line was the city's deal with the Grizzlies. And I read Grizzlies and I was like, ooh, that piques my interest. And then I opened it and I saw the full headline was, the city plans to keep the Grizzlies. Here is a look inside the negotiations. And the article is by Sam Hardman over at the Daily Memphian. Really great reporter, and this is a very thorough reporting. He has a second article that dropped this morning as well, where it lays out kind of like an exact plan of where the money for FedEx renovations or FedEx Forum renovations is coming from. But I will start with that first article because I think it's really one of the first, or at least most recent, thorough outlines of where things stand with the city, the Grizzlies, and the arena. And this is always a like under-bubbling conversation. And I know there were some eyebrows raised last month after the comments from Memphis Mayor Paul Young, where he said that the new lease for the Grizzlies wasn't getting done this summer, that he said the negotiations were still moving forward, but just that timeline had shifted, and that kind of like raised, I wouldn't call them concerns, but just a general like revamp of the conversation of, okay, well, when is this getting done? And this article goes more in depth into why it hasn't been done up to this point and how it all keeps moving forward. And I think to start, like the TLDR, that too long didn't read, but you should read because journalism is important and reading is important. But the primary point of this article, or my main takeaway, was the Grizzlies want to be in Memphis. Memphis wants the Grizzlies The Grizzlies are making every effort to stay in Memphis, and now it's just a matter of how to make that happen long term. And as I understand it, and like I always think it's important to be crystal clear because we are obviously sitting in front of Federal Express Forum, and I do not speak for the team. CJ, I don't know about you. Maybe you have secret access to information that I do not.
You know I don't.
Yeah, I wish we did. It'd be more fun. But I'm interpreting this article just like the rest of you. Like, I'm reading it this morning. I am interpreting it based on the information that is presented, but I interpreted it as the Grizzlies want to be in Memphis, and the Grizzlies and the city for like 3 years at this point have been working and spending countless hours trying to get something done. We've gone through 2 different mayoral administrations at this point as this deal has been being worked, and all sides, as stated in the article, are working towards a resolution in good faith. And good faith is used a couple of times. I think sometimes you can treat like good faith as just a throwaway, like they're just saying it to say it. But I think it's important in this case because it really shows there's a mutual desire and a mutual benefit for the NBA to continue operating in Memphis through the Grizzlies. And we are going into season 25. And the hope is let's keep this thing rolling. So for people who maybe don't follow this as closely, like the FedEx Forum lease as it stands goes through 2029. So it expires in 2029. There is a plan for spending $550 million in renovations and an understanding of a long-term agreement to keep the Grizzlies in Memphis beyond that 2029 expiration date of their current lease, their original lease. And instead of asking for a new arena, which many teams have done. Oklahoma City, the most recent, they're spending $1 billion on a new arena. You also have the situation that just popped off in Portland with the sale of the Trailblazers. And now they've gone from perhaps shifting in the mentality of, oh, we'll just renovate Moda Center to, well, maybe we need a new arena after all. But with the Grizzlies, they have looked at this as, let's save $500 million and be okay with renovations as opposed to building something new. And I think this article really explains how the two parties have agreed on a funding plan that spreads the renovations out over a few years. And the article specifically says 7 to 12 years, and how that can save, the public in interest payments and make it more workable. It sets up, scenarios of just minimizing risk for public money, essentially. And in Sam's second article, it really lays out the proposal for like the slow spending approach. So it would allow some of that public funding that isn't available until 2028, 2029. It would show that you could do slow spending and then see how the facility changes are working in real time and adapt from there. The article points out that the Grizzlies currently have $80 million in state cash, $78 million of it has not been spent, but they have hired an arena architect. They've hired a project manager. Designs are expected in the fall, which would designate how a lot of this money is spent. And I think it was important to note too, like something that happened back in January was the news that FedEx is retaining the naming rights to FedEx Forum. And in the wake of Fred Smith's passing, FedEx has been very vocal about their continued commitment to the city, their support of Memphis, their intent to be in Memphis. And all those things are very positive. And I know people are going to hear this and be like, okay, so like, why hasn't this been done? That's one of the number one questions I continuously get asked in the city is, why hasn't this lease deal been done? Why isn't it signed, sealed, delivered? What's taking so long? What's the holdup? And this article lays out that it really comes down, or a part of it really comes down to the state of downtown and like what the area around FedEx Forum and this looking for commitment. The Grizzlies looking for commitment from the city of Memphis to really designate attention to bettering downtown and the surrounding area around FedEx Forum. And like, I don't think I have to, this isn't breaking news to anybody. I love downtown Memphis. Like, this is my home. Memphis is my home. Downtown Memphis is specifically my home. I love downtown Memphis so much, believe in downtown Memphis so much. Like, I bought a home in downtown Memphis. And that said, like, I'm not an idiot and I'm not blind and I'm not deaf. And I am met with a constant bombardment of the negative perception of downtown, particularly with downtown crime. And this is where sometimes it's hard for me personally, because I can sit here all day and tell you till I'm blue in the face that I feel safe living downtown. I enjoy living downtown. I walk downtown. I spent all weekend walking up and down South Main and all around the areas of downtown Memphis. But I also know that like Susan in Lakeland, sorry, not to call you out, Susan. I don't even know a Susan in Lakeland. But like the representation of there are people who don't want to come and walk around downtown at night. And I'm not trying to be dismissive of people's fears. I'm trying to do a much better job of understanding like my existence and my reality of living downtown doesn't really matter. It does matter to a degree, but it's not ultimately going to sway someone's mind who is currently in a position where they look at downtown and they don't want to come here, because even though crime has fallen, it still exists. Like I had a friend who was robbed a couple weekends ago. We had an incident in our building a few months back. I've always looked at living anywhere downtown. I lived in downtown Los Angeles. I've spent a lot of time in downtown Denver, downtown Seattle, New York City. Like there is a certain associated risk of being downtown in a major city, a certain level of like head on a swivel, but that doesn't help. That doesn't help make someone want to come and bring their family and spend time downtown. And I can also look at the reality of there are a lot of examples of downtown Memphis that could use a boost, that could use some help, that could use a perception help, certainly. And from, all the empty storefronts that are around this area, Beale Street could use a fresh coat of paint, both metaphorically and physically. The sidewalks could use help. There could be more light. There could be fixed light. And I, as a downtown resident, sometimes I get frustrated at the slow progress that you see in a city of things that you want to get fixed or hope to get fixed. And I just think like with some of these, small adjustments have certainly already been made. Like there's been massive police presence, not massive, that sounds aggressive. There has been appropriate police presence at Grizzlies games starting last season. When I go to the Orpheum downtown, there's always police presence around the theater and surrounding areas when people are walking to and from their cars. But I just think that there's, some level of hope that there is an increased attention in making this area better. And that's good for everyone. Like, CJ, you've been to some really cool entertainment districts around stadiums, and it just levels up the experience of not just feeling comfortable, but the enjoyment of going to a game or going to a concert or going to some sort of a production when you're at a major sporting arena.
Yeah. This morning, we'll talk about that in a second. This morning, I'm bopping down Beale Street, as one does, because I kick it downtown. I frolic downtown all times of the day and the night, and have since I moved to Memphis in 2009 and stayed for like one time. I've been pretty all right. But walking down Beale Street this morning, two officers just damn near hand in hand bopping down the street. I was like, oh, wonder what that's about. Maybe they read the Daily Memphian article and they're like, hey, we got to keep this team here at all costs. So on the entertainment districts, we talked about it before the show started. Like I've gone to Busch Stadium, and I don't know if it's Cardinal Way. I can't tell you what it's called. But there are things around that stadium in St. Louis that feels like if they don't belong to the Cardinals, it sure as hell feels like it belongs to the Cardinals. You think about the stadium that's being built in Nashville for the Titans, where it is $1 billion, not just for the stadium, but for the area also around the stadium. Our TVs are so good right now. We have the best TVs, the best viewing experiences ever in our homes in the history of humanity. So what can we do to bring people out? We got to make it an event. We got to give them other things to do at these sports things other than just come see the team and then go home. And that's why when you think about what the Thunder are doing, you think about what happened with not the Coliseum, but the stadiums that were built in LA for those football teams. Like it is, hey, here's the stadium, and then here's all this other entertainment stuff around the stadium to get people to come in. The Grizzlies aren't asking for that, because that would mean they need to move the stadium someplace else in the city. The Grizzlies have looked around from the way the article makes it seem and said, oh, no, we've got an entertainment district already, and it's Beale Street.
It's right there.
It's right there. It's Beale Street, and then you get to the end of Beale Street, and you've got South Main. So there is an entertainment district already right here. We don't need to build that. We just need to get it upgraded a little bit. Now, I hope I'm not getting out over my skis. Maybe I am, but F it, I said it, so here we go. Like they've given like models of similarly sized cities to the city and said, hey, look at what they did with their downtown, a similar type downtown, and look what they were able to do from a renovations, upgrade, safety sort of standpoint, and how that revitalize, rejuvenate it, re-energize the community, and now look at how everything is going from a sales standpoint and from a visitation standpoint to this area for that particular city. They've passed that along, and so it's up to the city now, I think, to look at that and say, okay, what can we do? What can't we do? How can we make all of this work? Because I'm with you. Beale Street is it's supposed to be one of the premier streets in the United States. It's supposed to be your Bourbons, your Broadways. It's supposed to be mentioned with those things, and you can walk up and down Beale Street and you see empty buildings. You see empty spots on Beale. You see them on Main Street as well. Like you said, there could be better lighting. There could be a bit more of a police presence. And those types of things would directly combat what you call her, Rebecca, or whatever her name is out in Lakeland.
I called her Susan. Rebecca. Trina.
There's absolutely a Trina. There's a Katima, right? They're out there somewhere, Collierville, Lakeland,
not all women.
wherever.
Wait. Men are some of the worst, not worst, but some of the loudest
Charles,
voices as well. Yes, Charles.
Quan, Timothy, right? They're
Bradley.
out there. They're out
that could be
there.
either a woman or a man.
They're,
Bradley has become
no way.
Especially as a child, spelled like Leigh.
Oh,
Bradley.
Your people.
There was Reese Witherspoon's character in the morning show was Bradley.
Oh, that's
but no, I mean,
awful.
But
so you do those things, and the perception of downtown changes. The article brought it up, and I'll bring it up, and we've talked about it. Crime is down. Crime is down downtown. Crime is down in this city. But the perception is that it isn't.
Yes.
And so you got to combat that perception. You can't just have people like, hey, it's not that bad down here. No, you have to show something tangible. 1, 2, you have to have something that brings people down here for something more than just the Grizzlies game. It would be nice if people would come down and say, all right, can't get tickets to the Grizzlies game. It's all sold out because John Morant is incredible. But I just want to be close to the action. I want to go hang out down there near the stadium. I want to be a part of the energy.
There's a great sports bar I want to go.
That all depends on
or
what happens out there.
Or a favorite restaurant of my kids when I wasn't able to get tickets. The number of times my dad and I went and tried to get tickets like outside Pepsi Center, now Ball Arena. It'll always be Pepsi Center to me. But where we weren't able to get it, and then we bop on over to there was this place called Brooklands that had excellent chicken tenders, and we would watch the game over there if we didn't get it, or we'd go someplace else. But yeah, I think you bring up a good point too. And before we get to Mike Wallace, like to bring it back to Sam's article, I think the Grizzlies just want reassurance that the city is interested in leveling up the city, not just interested, committed to leveling up the city. And I think it's important to remind people, like oftentimes, I think when you read something like this, there's kind of like a passivity to it. Like, well, I can't do anything. I'm just going to read this. This is politic talk and money that doesn't involve me. Like, in terms of what you can do, I know it's really rich for me to sit here. I'm like, you know what you can do? You can come to a Grizzlies game this season. You can spend your hard-earned money and come to a game when I am going to those games for work. So I understand that sounds, it's not always something that feels easily, just like pure when I say that. Like, of course I want you to come to Grizzlies games. I want us all to hang out at Grizzlies games. But I will give an example of something that I do that it kind of like combats this notion of sometimes you just gotta put your money where your mouth is, or put your money where your passions is, I think is a better way to put it. I buy Orpheum tickets every year. I buy Orpheum season tickets, and they're expensive. And I hate how expensive they are. And I get offered free tickets to every show at the Orpheum. And I pass that by, and I buy season tickets to the Orpheum because I am fortunate enough that I can, and I am passionate enough about the arts and the place of the Orpheum in Memphis, and I want the health of the Orpheum to continue, that I want part of my money, part of my hard-earned money, to go towards that. And I can never tell anybody how to spend their money because that's a personal decision. And especially in these trying times, in this economy, it's more difficult than ever. But even just in terms of like establishing places, and it doesn't have to just be downtown. This gets into the greater expansion of just supporting your city, like the civic nature of supporting a city that you love. Go to your favorite restaurant, go to your favorite museum, go to your favorite activity, support your local parks, but also support the Grizzlies because they're such an important part of this city and the infrastructure here in Memphis. And I read that article this morning and I remained incredibly, not just hopeful, but like very confident that this is a relationship that intends to continue for a long time. And we will obviously see what those next steps look like. We'll talk to Mike Wallace about it. He'll join us after a quick break. We'll get his take on that, plus the Grizzlies schedule that came out last week and some Grizzlies summer storylines as well. That's after a quick break.
Preseason Box to Row Coaches Bowl has come out. Jackson State sits there at number 1. This is the third time in the poll's history that Jackson State has been the preseason number 1 team in the nation. And then Tennessee State being at 5, that really surprised me.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Speaking of Adidas, are these the Harden 10s?
Yes.
Yes.
I guess so. From what
you guys don't sound too excited. It kind of looks like when you flush the toilet in the water.
Yeah, it's like a whirlpool.
Want to be phone positive?
Yeah.
Want to be phone positive?
Or artists just making some paint up and they just
Looks like phone positive material.
Yeah, or a thumbprint. The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Scotty Scheffler ran away with the Open Championship this weekend. My God, this guy, he's not real. Have we reached the point with Scotty Scheffler where you don't have to care a thing about golf, but you still know there's a dude named Scotty Scheffler who is awesome at it?
He is solidified himself as one of the greats in the sport. At this point, probably of all time.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What is the biggest Summer League accomplishment so far for this Grizzlies team?
Tuomas Isalo filling out his coaching staff. The Ryan Saunders hiring was essential. It was big time. You have a veteran NBA voice there.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Welcome back. It is Tuesday. That means it's time to be joined by Grind City Media senior editor Mike Wallace. He joins us every Tuesday. He joins us now. Mike, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Late August or mid-August. Actually, it's August 19th, so we're getting towards the end of August. Football season is right here. I'm not too concerned about that performance by my Commanders last night. It's preseason. We'll see how it goes from there, but Cincinnati looks pretty good.
Jaden Daniels looked pretty good. Like, as someone who drafted him in a fantasy football draft on Sunday and then turned around and watched that game last night, and that little touchdown run, impressive touchdown run that he had, I was very quickly solidified in my decision to go early with Jaden Daniels, but it also just reminded you, like, this is why he keeps jumping up in quarterback tiers. Like, the Athletic came out with their quarterback tiers, and he's the only second-year quarterback that elevated into that realm right under the Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes grouping, and Jaden Daniels is right there. So I support your reinstatement as an official Washington Commanders fan. It feels like a good investment for you.
Well, I'm gonna always be Redskins. You know what I mean? I'm really Washington professional football team /
the Washington football team.
But as long as they keep the colors, the burgundy and the gold like that, I'm good with it. So yeah, definitely. Jaden Daniels is a guy that I just keep my fingers crossed that we can keep him healthy, because that is like, he's the next superstar waiting to happen in the NFL. And man, it's exciting to see him develop.
In the first segment, we were talking about the article that dropped this morning by Sam Hardiman in the Daily Memphian on the city's plans to keep the Grizzlies, and he goes further in depth into the continuing negotiations between Memphis and the city of Memphis. But the Memphis Grizzlies and the city of Memphis, I should say. My biggest takeaway from this, Mike, was like, the Grizzlies want to be here. The city wants the Grizzlies to be here. They are continuing to work this out in the words they use, good faith discussions, as they work on what that, conclusive second lease will look like when all is said and done with FedEx Forum. But I'm curious your take on this matter, as it continues to be a story that, constantly feels like it's just bubbling under the surface. And until something officially gets done, I think that will continue to be the case. But I read this as a real positive for the future of the Grizzlies in Memphis.
Well, the bottom line is, no matter what the narratives are, no matter what the public talking points and the sides are saying publicly, there still has to be work done to get this thing solidified. What you want to hear is that both sides are committed to getting the job done. And definitely the Grizzlies, who will be celebrating year 25 this year coming up, with Memphis or in Memphis, the Grizzlies wouldn't be putting all of this effort into solidifying that kind of legacy and lifeline here in Memphis, if there was any plans to pull the plug on that. They want to be here. The Grizzlies want to be here. And you have to understand how important the Grizzlies are to the city of Memphis, West Tennessee, and overall in the state. But here's the thing, though. The other part of it is this. Like I said, work has to be done. You look around the state and you see Nashville building a brand new billion-dollar structure for the Tennessee Titans that's getting built with state income and city funds and all of those kind of things. You look around and you see other projects that are popping up. And, it's not easy. None of these projects are easy, but there has to be a pathway towards breaking ground at some point, or at least in this case, extending a lease. And I think both sides are committed to getting that done.
You are somebody who, you lived in downtown Memphis for a long time. You now live in the suburbs of Memphis. And I'm curious, like, what it's like being somebody who had real life experience of being a downtown Memphis resident and then having to exist in a space where, I don't want to speak for your neighbors and your fellow suburbanites, but the tone of downtown, like, we all live here, we get it. Like, there is a perception that comes with downtown Memphis, whether very real, very fake, or somewhere in between. And I'm curious how that's carried over into how you view downtown now that you live outside of downtown.
Well, I mean, I'll say this, and I think, I'm not speaking out of turn here, and everybody's situation is different and unique and private. But all three of us who are sitting here right now in front of this camera have been impacted by issues with downtown Memphis, right? But we don't blame downtown Memphis for the situations that we all fell in. I mean,
can I make one note on that? Because I always think it's important.
Yeah.
My issue was not downtown.
Right. No, I'm saying in terms of you living downtown, though. In terms of you living downtown and you're seeing some of the things that happen downtown.
Sure. I do want to knock on wood, though, but I am fortunate enough where my one issue with crime didn't come until this past year, and it was my husband's car getting stolen. And people always, I've learned since sharing that story, so I just want to be like 100% clear. Which is dumb, period. Like, it stinks to have your car stolen, but it did not happen downtown Memphis. It happened in a nice area, or quote unquote nice area of East Memphis, where people would be like, oh, that's where your car got. If it happened downtown, they'd be like, oh, of course your car got stolen in downtown Memphis, and as opposed to where it happened, and people are like, oh, I'm surprised that it wasn't when you were in downtown Memphis. So anyway, just wanted to be clear on that.
Well, you got real specific, and I wasn't going to open the door to your issue, right? Your specific, criminal issue, right?
Yes.
But I was talking about more in terms of how after games you have to sometimes
Oh,
walk
sure.
the arena back to your place when you were downtown. And those things aren't easy to do sometimes, and some of the things that you see and experience can be a little bit off-putting to say the least. I know for a fact when I lived downtown this is coming up to year 10 for me. I lived downtown for 7 of those 10 years, and downtown Memphis didn't ever scare me, and it won't ever scare me. And it's just because I'm from inner city Washington, D.C. So I know what really, really bad situations look like. But that doesn't mean that, I'm immune to something happening. Bottom line is that there's a perception there, and that perception is based on some level of reality. And although the city is reporting that all of these crimes and these stats are coming down, there still is a perception that's going to be there for a while. But the city can do something about that. The city can clean some of that up. And I've seen efforts being made around Beale Street, around the arena, to make it a safer environment, to have a bigger presence, and just to make people feel welcome. When you go back to, and the last thing I'll say about that part of it is, you go back to, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. When those out-of-towners come in and they converge on Beale Street and those kind of things, you see some of the most friendly, festive environments that you can have. And the majority of those people are coming from out of town and they're fine with it. So there's going to be a perception. There's work to be done. But Memphis is not unlike Detroit, not unlike inner city Chicago or south side of Chicago or, East LA or Washington, D.C., my hometown right now.
Yeah. It's.
What'd you say? What was the other? What'd you say, CJ?
Cleveland.
Right? Like
Cleveland, yeah.
all of these places have that sort of stigma to them. And the area where the stadium is either has been upkept or has recently gone through major sort of facelifts to encourage people not just to come to the stadium, but we talked about it the last segment, to come and hang out in that area. You got $1 billion stadium being built in Nashville, Mike. The Thunder are looking to get, or they have already gotten the money, and they're about to start building their $1 billion stadium. And it's not $1 billion for the stadium; it's $1 billion for the stadium and the surrounding area that they're going to create and make an entertainment district. We talked about it, Jessica. Again, Beale Street is an entertainment district. In order for the Grizzlies to do something like that, the Grizzlies would need to pick the Forum up and plop it down in a different part of the city and create and build from scratch a new entertainment district. But that's effing Beale Street.
Yeah.
That street matters. And so if you're the Grizzlies, why would you want to leave this area? What you would want is, hey, in lieu of the $1 billion stadium that our peers are getting, how about y'all give us a bit so that we can upgrade this stadium, and then you guys make the necessary updates outside right here where we sit, and then that'll benefit you guys as a city.
And
no question.
I do think there's a.
Real quick,
oh, go ahead. No, you're good.
I could jump in real quick on that. Another comparative, places. Again, that goes back to Washington D.C. where I grew up. Right. I mean, it was. The Capitol Center was out in the suburbs, Landover, Maryland, where the Washington Bullets played at, where I played at in high school, and all of those kind of things. But then it moved to downtown in Chinatown, a very historic district right in the heart of Chinatown. And so what had to happen in Chinatown was that Gallery Place had to be upgraded and it had to be restored. And the city did that in order to put what was then the MCI Center right in the heart of Chinatown in downtown D.C. So, yes, I mean, as much as we embrace the historic nostalgia of Beale Street, there's a level of it where it has to be kept up. It can be an eyesore on some days. It's not very prosperous. There's certainly things that can be done. And you also have to start bringing in 4- and 5-star quality hotel structures into downtown Memphis. You can't keep living off of an NBA market being in a 3-star hotel city. That won't work either. So there's a lot that needs to be done economically for Memphis, but this is with or without the Grizzlies. Like, the Grizzlies aren't the reason these things are or aren't getting done. That has to be done as a city no matter what before you do anything else.
Yeah, it's like, if you build it, they will come, but that's also slightly hollow because you have to support it. And I can understand how people listen to these conversations and get very bogged down, or if it's somebody who's outside of the downtown Memphis area, they're like, this doesn't affect me, but it affects everybody. Like, a vibrant downtown is a indicator of a healthy city. So there is, a greater civic positivity that comes with a healthy downtown Memphis that features the Grizzlies, or various concerts rolling through FedEx Forum and various events coming through downtown Memphis. But I always tell people too, like, I'm very big on this right now, to the point where I know some people have made fun of me. I don't care. Go do things in Memphis that you love and tell people about it. Like, you can't just assume that people are going to go and support a restaurant naturally and just hope for the best. Like, no, you have to be really intent on supporting the places you love, telling people about the places you love, and then encouraging other people to go there too. And that goes for every, little corner and crevice of the city. And if you really pour into the places and the things that you enjoy, that leads to a greater health for everything. That leads to one less place closing its doors and adding to another empty storefront on one of these streets. And my hope is eventually all the storefronts are full, because that represents, the health of downtown, and people are bipping and bopping all throughout wherever they want to go, be it South Main or on Beale Street. But the city has so much good stuff that it just really irks me when it's all focused on the negative. So I do try to constantly counter it with, there's great stuff here already. It just can continue to be elevated to a place where, one, people feel more comfortable coming back downtown again, and two, more stuff feels confident opening in the city because there's the support of other businesses around it.
And some of those things, Mike, I'm sorry, real quick. Some of those things you don't have to pay for, right? Like, there are constantly festivals popping off, not just down here, but in the city in general. Yeah. And for the most part, for most of those, you just show up and you walk around. You do a little bit of window shopping, and then you get on with your day. But like, there are things that you can do that don't require you to spend large sums of money to just be out and active, not just in your neighborhood, in your community, absolutely be active there, but in the city at large. A way for you to leave Raleigh, Binghamton, Cordova, Westwood, where have you, and get into the city and just participate and, feel a bit of that civic pride, like you said, Jessica. I'm sorry, Mike.
No, you're good, man. And these conversations are all healthy, right? Like, these are all healthy. And one thing that unites the three of us again is the fact that we were very intentional about where we chose to, lay our roots and live where we are in Memphis. Like, CJ, I know how much being in that Orange Mound community has meant to you. Like, there were specific reasons why you wanted to be there. And you don't just confine yourself to that one area. You get around everywhere. But you wanted to be in the heart of that community, despite some of the things that go on or that you hear in certain places. I mean, it's not a reality. Like, everybody's reality is different from that standpoint. Jess, you being downtown, but you touch all parts of the city with some of the things you do, behind the scenes and with some of your other businesses. And, for me, like I said, I've lived in Germantown, I lived downtown for a long stretch, and now I live out, in the suburbs out towards Lakeland. So, and I've seen, you talk about, XAI finding Memphis as a home, Blue Oval finding Memphis as a home, all of these other businesses and things that are coming here trying to invest. Now, there are some political issues that goes on with all of these places, and it's not easy to get deals done, to circle it back to what the Grizzlies are facing. Right. But the thing about Memphis is this. Look, we all have to defend Memphis. There are some issues that go on in Memphis that make Memphis difficult in the news and the headlines in a lot of ways. There's still currently things that are like that. But the bottom line of it is that that's not all of Memphis. There are days, other areas in Memphis that, this is the biggest school district in the state of Tennessee. You know what I mean? How many graduates are going off to colleges from the city of Memphis and Memphis Shelby County schools? There are positive public headlines that we can also point to, and I think it's incumbent upon all of us to round this thing out when it comes up to these kind of issues. But having said all of that, the Grizzlies have to be able to want to be here, and for all indications, they do want to continue to be here. But the city of Memphis has to continue in this evolving economic climate for pro sports teams and pro sports cities. It has to continue to evolve into a city that can support a modern day NBA franchise. And there's work that needs to be done in order to meet that threshold for both sides.
Evolution is constantly important for any city, not just Memphis. You can't just sit on your hands and wish and hope that things are going to work out sometimes. All right, Mike, because I'm telling people to buy tickets to Grizzlies games and go support the Grizzlies next season, the schedule came out last week. You were all over it on Grizzbeat, but as you've kind of had some time to reflect on it, how do you evaluate the Grizzlies schedule as a whole next season? Easy, difficult, something in between?
I think it starts off very accommodating. You got a 3 games in 4 night stretch. It's busy, but it's at home. I think the next 10 after that, like, as Rob Fisher pointed out, is going to be a litmus test for how the rest of your season goes. And I said this, the first 20 to 25 games will be more important than the first 25 games of any point in franchise history this coming season. And it's because of all the changes. It's because of all the continuity. They have both changes and continuity that they're juggling. So you really don't know. This season is set up to go along two different paths. And depending on how those first 20 to 25 games go, we'll know distinctively by November, by Thanksgiving, by Christmas, which path these Grizzlies are headed on, not just for this season, but for the next few seasons to come.
We've reached the point in the summer where, because the schedule's out and we're getting closer and closer to the next NBA season, I feel like I've received a rise in uptick of the question, so are the Grizzlies going to be good next year? Like, that's the baseline of so many people who come up to me, or people I know who are, fringe sports fans who don't follow an off season as closely as perhaps you and I do. How do you answer that question, though, Mike? Are the Grizzlies going to be good this year? The simplicity of that question, what is your answer?
Hey, buy tickets and find out, right? This is going to be a team
that's
captivating. It's going to be a team that is captivating. They're going to be, a team that catches your attention. Support the Grizzlies. Support, like you said before, Jessica, things that are coming to FedEx Forum. But I do know that this is a newness to this team. Jaren is going to be healthy, pretty soon into the season. If not right at the start. Yeah. Ja Morant is at a level where it's either do it, get it done, let's show it right now, and emerge as this global superstar that you've been this offseason. And they're going to be an exciting team to watch develop in this structure right now. But they need the support, but they also need to do their job and go out there and win some games and start off a lot better than they finished last year.
All right, Mike, thanks for joining us on this Tuesday. We'll catch up with you next week. Bye.
Absolutely, guys.
That was Mike Wallace. You can always find his latest up at grindcitymedia.com. We will take a quick break. We will come back. I scrimped watching NFL preseason action last night on my TV, willingly watching NFL preseason action on my TV. Desperate times as we wait for the real football to begin with week 0 of the college football season this weekend. Also cried watching something on my TV. I'll tell you what that was after a quick break.
You ready? I've been ready. What are we waiting for?
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans. Want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
Speaking of Adidas, are these the Harden 10s?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I guess so.
From what
You guys don't sound too excited. It kind of looks like when you flush the toilet in the water.
Yeah, it's like a whirlpool.
Like a
I
whirlpool.
want to be phone positive. Yeah. Want to be phone positive.
Or artists just making some paint up and they just
Looks like phone positive material.
Yeah, or a
Yeah,
thumbprint.
like-
The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Scotty Scheffler ran away with the Open Championship this weekend. My God, this guy, he's not real. Have we reached the point with Scotty Scheffler where you don't have to care a thing about golf, but you still know there's a dude named Scotty Scheffler who is awesome at it?
He is solidified himself as one of the greats in the sport. At this point, probably of all time.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Let's check the over-under totals. Alabama, Georgia, and Texas all at 9.5. LSU, Ole Miss, Tennessee at 8.5.
I love Ole Miss over the 8.5. I think Ole Miss can win 9.
But Ole Miss, they're gonna, Ole Miss, they're gonna lose to Arkansas week 3.
But they could go 9-3. Like Ole Miss winning 10 games
They always
is
pull
always
some
like
crap like that.
Ole Miss winning 10 can seem a bit of a stretch, but they can win 9.
They're gonna lose at Kentucky week 2.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Preseason Box to Row Coaches Poll has come out. Jackson State sits there at number 1. This is the 3rd time in the poll's history that Jackson State has been the preseason number 1 team in the nation. And then Tennessee State being at 5, that really surprised me. Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Welcome back, welcome back. I watched NFL preseason last night, CJ.
Bless your heart.
Thank you. That is so sweet. I watched Commanders Bengals on ESPN. And when I first turned it on, I was like, ooh, I can squint and convince myself that I'm watching real football because I saw a Chase Brown touchdown. I saw Joe Burrow completing passes. I saw Jaden Daniels running for a nice little electric scamper. And then for whatever reason, Joe Burrow stayed in the game. And I was like, stop. I don't need to see Joe Burrow for one more second in the preseason. Screaming at my television.
You know how they started?
Yes.
You know he's 1-9 first 2 weeks as a starter.
Yes, I don't care.
Okay.
At this point, he's 18 of 24 for 185 yards and 3 touchdowns. And you know what? I didn't need the last possession that bled into the second quarter. I do not need Joe Burrow playing in the second quarter of a preseason game, particularly when his offensive line leaves him in positions like he was in last night. Now, you can blame Joe Burrow a little bit for some of it.
A little bit?
Jacob is in my...
A little bit?
Former
This is
offensive lineman Jacob Sabrati.
Right here. Throw it away. 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 That's his fault. That's his fault.
He believed that his offensive line had his back.
Dude, show the replay again. At what point would you lose belief in your offensive line? Show the replay. All right, good. Step up in the pocket. All right, outside. Right about here is where I lose it.
Number 64, what are you doing? Number 62, what are you doing?
You can't crack back like that. That's against the rules. Why is Joe Burrow running backwards across the field?
That's a great question.
Like, that is on him.
Another part of it, for one of his, that was the sack that went hella viral from the game. But then he got sacked again, and it got taken away because of a horse collar. And I'm like, why on earth are we horse collaring Joe Burrow in a preseason game? Why is Joe Burrow in a position to be horse collared in a preseason game? It was a lot for my little heart. I was like, I have always been you should just play in the preseason. You know, you can't protect yourself always. So I plan to parent hypothetically. Like, gotta let your kid, go out there, get some dirt on his hands, get some dirt in his knees, her knees, please, someday. But instead,
wait, now day after preseason. You're not parenting like that at all.
Can you imagine? Me?
Jessica.
Me?
Jessica.
Go walk down some stairs.
No, you are going to sprint. That little
I'm going to work
1.5-year-old is going to wobble up. It's going to see something and start making its way to the stairs. You're going to, you know how you scream. Do the scream you do. There you go. You're going to make that noise and you're going to sprint. Full speed. Both your Achilles are going to pop. It does not matter. And you will grab that baby before the baby gets to these stairs. You're not letting a baby do that.
Anyway, Joe Burrow is obviously the least of the Bengals' concerns. Joe Burrow's offensive line is, I wouldn't say a massive concern. You want to know what is a concern for the Bengals?
Who's playing defense?
Their abysmal defense. My God, that man is going to be kept again. My favorite show of the summer, the quarterback series on Netflix, really reinforced the notion that Joe Burrow would have had an MVP season last year. Perhaps, obviously, it was a great season for Lamar. It was a great season for Josh. But Joe Burrow would have been firmly more planted in the MVP conversation if the Bengals had been a winning team and not started the season the way they did. And so many of those games came down to his defense couldn't do anything. I mean, you're having to put up massive numbers every week to even be in the games because of the defense. And their first team they went up against the first team, quote unquote, first team offense for the Commanders last night, and they looked horrible again. And I'm just like, oh man, will the Bengals ever get back to a Super Bowl? I don't know. Not if their defense looks like that.
I mean, it's hard to, you got to pay for defensive talent, and it's hard to pay for defensive talent when all of your money, and listen, I think rightfully so, is tied up in your star quarterback and your 2-star receivers, right? As long as you can keep that trio together, you're going to be able to score in this league. You just are. You've got to look around and say, and the Bengals clearly have, like, hey, we got to play T. Higgins. We got to do it. We got to play Jamar Chase. We got to do it. We got to pay Joe. We got to do it. Well, where are we going to save money at? Where are we going to cut some costs at? We're going to cut it not just in depth in general. We better get healthy. We better stay healthy. We're not cutting it just at depth, but we're going to cut it on the defensive side of the ball. We're going to cut it on the offensive side of the ball as well. And you have to trust and believe that those three are more than talented enough to get you where you need to be. And we've seen them do it, haven't we? Like that defense when they got to the did they get to a Super Bowl? Was it Super Bowl? When they got to a Super Bowl, wasn't outstanding. That offensive line, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, was abysmal that year.
Yeah.
So, like, hey, they did it once, and they did it once in their second, third years at this thing. They should be able to do it again. That's a gamble you got to take.
They were a middle-of-the-road defense. They were 16th.
Okay. So, hey, that offensive line was bad, though, that year.
Yes.
And so, hey, we can pay for a middle-of-the-road defense and a slightly below adequate offensive line. If we got that, we're good to go. And that's what they've decided to do. I'm not mad at them.
Did you, I take it you didn't watch. I was going to ask such a silly question.
I want everybody to remember this, right? Because there's some sporting events and sporting micro seasons where everybody gets worked up about. And they're like, oh, CJ just hates on this sport. See, I love football. Love it. Love it. I'm not watching your spring game. I'm not watching your preseason game.
That's okay.
I'm not watching your football practice.
It brings me comfort. Just know that. Like having a preseason game on last night.
It's close.
It makes me alertly aware of how close we are to the football season, and that brings me great joy. I had this thought last night of when I get back from this trip I'm about to embark on, I have Thursday night football, the first Thursday I'm back, and then we'll have a full weekend where I do not have to leave my couch and can watch all college football Saturday and all NFL on Sunday. And I miss that. That is something that I genuinely enjoy. That makes my life better. Now, by the time we get to the end of the season, sometimes I'm a little fatigued because I've done it so much every single week. But at the beginning, nothing feels better for me than the beginning of football season where I dedicate my entire weekend to the sport that brings me great comfort, you know?
Right around late October, it is, okay, sweetheart, you want me to go with you to run an errand? I could run an errand.
I can squeeze one in.
I can run an errand and miss this particular window of college and professional games. And then by December, it's like, no, we can absolutely go run errands all day. I've gotten my fix and fill in. But right here at the beginning,
no,
from August till late October, just leave me the hell alone. Leave me on the couch. I'm absolutely leaving an ass prints in my couch cushion as I slow down a bit.
Got to figure out my so to-go meals that I want.
The meal situation. Like I need to have the first 3 to 4 weeks of the NFL and college football meal planned out so that all I have to do is get up, reheat, and go.
I'll inevitably end up spending too much money on delivery tambolis. What a luxury. What a luxury. But that happens to us every football season. We should go to tambolis this weekend. And then we'll be in the middle of the games. And it'll be like that break between afternoon and Sunday Night Football starting where technically we could go out and we're like, you know what? Let's just have it delivered. We're not a delivery family. We're a very anti-delivery family because it's so expensive and just adds to the cost of already eating out. But in those occasions, God, it feels like a luxury that I am ready to dive into once more. I was going to ask you if you saw that the Bills running back, the rookie running back, 7th round pick. So you probably are unfamiliar with this work. But Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, out of nowhere last night, they're like, he actually wants to go by Bill, which is cool. Like you have whatever name you want, and I will call you Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. And he's like, actually, I want to go by Bill this season. I'm like, okay,
He's a 7th round pick this year?
Yeah.
Why are we talking about him? He's not going to make the team.
He played one game last year at Arizona due to eligibility
He
issues,
played
but
one
he
game?
shined in the East-West Shrine game. He shined like the top of the Chrysler building. Anyway, that made me laugh because he's just Bill. He's just Bill. The other thing from yesterday, NFL related, Joe Flacco at the age of 40, named starting quarterback for the Browns. Is Joe Flacco still elite? Okay. One of 4 active quarterbacks, though, with at least 100 regular season wins. Can you name the other 3? 4 active quarterbacks with at least 100 regular season wins. That is one. And he is alive, although many think he's dead.
I was going to say the ghost of Matthew Stafford, but all right,
Let's
take
start
that out.
that.
All right, so Matthew Stafford.
The Matthew Stafford conspiracy theory has reached our
Patrick
show.
Mahomes?
No.
Okay.
2 oldies.
Yeah. Who else is Aaron Rodgers?
You got it.
Okay, all right. Who else is old as
Other
hell in
oldie
this
at
league?
risk of maybe losing his job before the
Kirk
season
Cousins?
already begins. No.
Kirk Cousins doesn't have 100 wins.
I know.
Okay, next time y'all talk to me
Well,
about
I don't know
Kirk
if he's
Cousins.
an active.
Yeah, he's active.
He's active.
We'll
okay,
figure
it
it
didn't
out.
say
We'll figure
starter.
out Kirk
Sorry.
Cousins' deal. Who else is old as hell in this damn league?
You rode with this guy for a long time.
Am I still
Even
riding with
after
him?
his current team into his second
Russ!
team. There you go.
Russ,
who's at risk of losing his job to my little teenage dirtbag quarterback Jackson Dart.
Hey.
All the hype on Dart right now.
Hey.
I took him with a flyer as one of my late round picks in my.
Okay.
Well, I have to explain. It's a 2 quarterback fantasy football league, so you just want to get as many of those as you can, and if you happen to strike on a late rounder, that is very beneficial to you. Following the preseason game last night, they did Old School SportsCenter with Rich Eisen. I cried. What? I know. I've been a little emotional. I've had an emotional week, but I was on the edge already, and especially like the nostalgia edge, and it was just so fulfilling to, 1, have the old school intro package and the graphics, and 2, just to see Rich Eisen, like the cadence at which he speaks, the way highlights are delivered, the way stories are delivered. And he did a bit with Stuart Scott, like a pre-produced video in honor of Stuart Scott, and said, Stuart should be up here with me during this time. Like, it's been 22 years since Rich Eisen hosted SportsCenter, and I look back on that duo in particular. Like, Kenny Mayne was hugely important for me as well. Olbermann, Dan Patrick, all those guys. But specifically the Eisen Stuart Scott duo, like, I can have a through line specifically to why I am sitting right here right now doing what I do, because I was inspired by those two. Like, I loved that SportsCenter. That was appointment viewing. I would sit crisscross applesauce in front of my little television, and that just sucked me into a sports-obsessed world that I became, one day wanted to have a career in. And having Rich Eisen back in that place last night, I don't know if it's going to be something that continues. Obviously, he's coming semi on board. He's not a full-time employee of ESPN, but his show is going to be casted on ESPN, similar to how they do the Pat McAfee show. And I know he's also working on a SportsCenter specific podcast that's going to go through the history of SportsCenter and bring in past anchors and do storytelling with them. But man, it just felt good to have I don't want to be that person who is an oldie in how they appreciate their sports coverage, but it was just so nice. It was so quiet.
Cousins, 83 wins.
Oh my God.
I think
Don't worry.
83, 74.
He can get to 100.
I think that the hit that everybody gets from seeing a Rich Eisen on desk is a throwback, a callback to a simpler time when that you had to catch your highlights on SportsCenter.
Yeah,
that was the only place you were going to catch them. Now you would see your team in your local market. So, like for instance, if I'm in Memphis, I would see Grizzlies highlights on the local stations, but I'm probably not going to see, I don't know, the Reds game, those highlights, right? So if you wanted to see national highlights, you had to go to ESPN, and he was one of the a slew of tremendous anchors up there for that show, SportsCenter, at the time. And now, it reminded me how far removed we are from that.
Yes.
Where just common knowledge, just general knowledge, people knew all of the anchors, or at least one anchor's name on SportsCenter back when it was rolling, back before social media and we had everything at our fingertips. I can't tell you the name of any of the anchors right now. And some of that is like I've fallen out of like with ESPN. I don't really kick it over there like I used to, but I can afford to fall out of like with ESPN because everybody's got a podcast. Everybody's got sports content, and I can get to it however I need to best fit my life. You said it was appointment viewing. It was appointment viewing for people I knew as well. But now, like, you can just go on YouTube and find it if you wanted to. We're not sitting down that way, crisscross applesauce in front of the TV anymore. And it's just, okay, this thing keeps moving along. Enjoy the moments while you have them because there'll be something new coming eventually.
Yeah, that was my dream job. Like, I wanted to anchor SportsCenter. I either wanted to anchor SportsCenter or I wanted to host Sports Nation back when that still existed. But SportsCenter was that was the peak. It felt like if I ever had the chance to anchor SportsCenter, that would be like the pinnacle of my career. And it kind of brought me back to that last night watching Rich Eisen. I was like, ooh, maybe we could bring it back. Maybe we could get that back. But no, it's attached to him and it's attached to the nostalgic memories of that. I will say the two that I really enjoy, and maybe it's just because I'm watching them early in the morning, is Randy Scott and Gary Streisky. They have great chemistry together that is sort of reminiscent on the chemistry that existed between some of those SportsCenter anchor pairings like Stuart Scott and Rich Eisen. And that's a piece of it too, right? Like, there's just not the continuity that there once was, so you're not getting those chemistry packages. Like Neil Everett and Stan Verrett had great chemistry when they came back and did the Los Angeles SportsCenter. Like that kind of captured that essence that I think we're all at one point were so drawn to when it comes to SportsCenter hosts. But it made me kind of sad.
At one point in time, that was the pinnacle. That was the best you could do.
Yes.
In sports.
That was the
media
tippity-toppity.
was like, hey, I'm on SportsCenter.
It was either calling the biggest games, like being on one of the crews that does Final Four, Super Bowl, national championships, or being a SportsCenter anchor.
And now the best thing you can do is what Rich Eisen and so many other SportsCenter anchors have done, where it is use that as a stepping stone to spin it and flip it and do your own thing, where you yourself are the brand, not the four letters. You are the star of your thing. Rich Eisen, Dan Patrick.
It used to be about being a part of something, and now everything is just about being you. Well, which is fine. I mean that in a good way to some degree. Like, your brand is awesome, and the fact that you can capitalize on your individual brand. But it used to feel cool when, like, there were various pieces to a bigger brand. It was about something bigger than just yourself.
Well, I mean, it's a lot of people who work on the Rich Eisen show, so it's still that, but it's not the company anymore. Listen, your show is called what now?
The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt.
Right, that's just where we go.
They kept you off that football graphic. I got to talk to somebody.
Oh, no, keep me off of it. It's fine. None of the other producers are on it.
Yeah, their names aren't on the show.
Oh.
You are of utmost importance.
I don't think that is true.
You saved my booty yesterday.
Listen. We talked about it.
CJ's really, really good at staying organized.
Am I? Yeah. I'm not.
No, like for one day.
Part of the reason I took off. Part of the reason I took off. I didn't go anywhere Friday. I took off and just sat at home because I was messing a whole bunch of stuff up.
To watch the Michigan decision, I know.
Yeah, sat there with my whiskey, waiting on that hammer to drop. The hammer never came. Don't get me started again.
No, please don't get him started again.
Because I needed to clear my head. It was like, y'all making way too many simple mistakes with as far as scheduling goes.
Isn't it crazy when that happens?
Yeah.
I feel like it just compounds one after another, and then I'm like, oh my God, do I have early onset?
No, you just need a break.
Yes, I just need to
get a break.
All right, speaking of breaks, let's take one. We will come back. We'll do TV Tuesday, what we're watching. CJ's watching the Hurricane Katrina documentary that I have heard is a devastating watch. I am close to finishing The Leftovers, and I am willing to give it pretty high praise in terms of my all-time TV ratings. Plus, there was huge television news that happened this morning that you are probably not tracking closely, but you should be, and I will tell you what it means, especially for what it means locally here in Memphis after a quick break.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Catch us if you can at Southland Casino Hotel and win your share of up to $1.8 million in free play and prizes. Join us for drawings every Saturday in May, June, and July. Each month, over 900 winners will take home free play or drive off in a new car or motorcycle. Be there for all 6 grand finale drawings and try to catch us if you can, only at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 up. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
You get to the main event, and you hear the crowd. There's some rumblings in the crowd.
Here we go.
They say, "We want truth."
I love how John Cena said when they were chanting, "We want truth." You can't handle the truth.
There you go.
I loved it.
He takes the knee off, boom. Takes the mask off, boom. And it's our freaking truth. God, man, he cost John Cena the match.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Did you know the Grizzlies were going to try to get up and get you?
No, I have no clue. I thought the Grizzlies loved me when I worked out because it was like super fun and everything was, just natural. We were just having a conversation. It wasn't like said, what's your favorite color and, like all that stuff.
What's your favorite color?
It wasn't interview.
First date type vibe.
Yeah, it wasn't interview questions. It was just like, hey man, how you doing? Like, and it was just real easy to talk to him. It was real easy to talk to Coach Thomas.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What is the biggest Summer League accomplishment so far for this Grizzlies team?
Tuomas Isalo filling out his coaching staff. The Ryan Saunders hiring was essential. It was big time. You have a veteran NBA voice there.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
The Memphis Tigers football season is almost here, and Grind City Media is bringing you inside the action. Join us live this Wednesday, tomorrow, August 20th, from Tigers football practice starting at 8 a.m. Hear from coaches and players as they gear up for the season, and you can watch it all live on Grind City Media or the Grind City Media YouTube channel. I am excited to be out at Memphis football practice tomorrow. Are you?
Yeah, throw the graphic back
Did they
up,
add
Jacob.
you?
Yeah, throw it back up. You just can't tell because my skin is dark.
Stop.
And so I'm up there.
You got me excited that they changed it.
You just can't see me. Like, we gotta lighten your boy up a little.
We gotta get some new pictures. My hair is not that long.
Wait, throw the graphic back up.
We've got to do some new photos at some point.
Hold on. Is this the picture of you?
That's right. That's when I was on drugs. Yeah, I was on so many drugs at this photo shoot.
That. I'm like, why is Jessica hit him with a little shoulder?
Because I'm on a scooter.
Yeah.
And I was bound and determined to still make the photo shoot coming out of
your hair
Achilles
is
surgery.
super long,
My hair is so long. It's so dirty. For some, not dirty, but like my highlights are all grown out.
That's it is.
It does capture a really memorable time in my life, even though I was on a lot of painkillers and don't particularly remember it.
Listen, drugs give some people the best memories, Jessica. I'm not going to speak for you. Hair dirty like Christina Aguilera in the Dirty video, right? Yeah.
Ex-Tina.
Yeah. Who?
That's what she called herself during that time. It was the Ex-Tina tour. Instead of Chris, she made the Chris or the Christ. X, like Xmas, Ex-Tina.
That feels blasphemous a little bit.
She was edgy. She was edgy. She was the bad girl.
Was she?
I don't know. She was hot. That's all I know.
Oh, so we're going out there.
Yeah, we're going out there tomorrow.
Are you going to pick me up?
Do you need me to?
I mean, it's on your way.
Yeah,
isn't
I can.
Okay. I can take the bus. But
no, I'll take you.
We'll figure it out.
I'll take you.
We'll figure it out.
We don't know if we can trust the bus in that situation.
In the mornings. It's been a while since I've had a bus.
And I don't mean not trusting taking the bus. I mean that it won't show up.
It's been a while since I had a bus snafu in the mornings.
I'll just pick you up on the way.
Okay. I'll meet you on the corner.
Okay, perfect. Sounds
I'll show
good.
a little leg.
Great. Please text me in the morning reminding me that that's where we're going, because I could see myself sitting at home at like 7:40 with my normal 2-minute commute and all of a sudden realizing I was supposed to be at the University of Memphis 20 minutes ago. Anyway, I did want to, I was irate this morning. Irate. But I've known this was coming, so I've had a growing anger towards it, but it became official as of today. This is something that most people probably are not tracking very closely, but I am here to tell you that you should be. So the news dropped this morning that Nexstar Media Group is acquiring Tegna for $6.2 billion. This is a local television mega deal. So Nexstar owns a ton of local news stations. Tegna owns a ton of local news stations. For me, for the longest time, Tegna was like the owner of some of the best stations in the country. KARE in Minneapolis, King 5 in Seattle. I'm trying to think of the one in Denver, but they were included as well. It was KUSA in Denver. They were just like pinnacles of like, God, if you could go tell stories for these local stations, you had made it big. Well, now at this point, Tegna is no more. Nexstar has acquired Tegna. And I don't want to call it a merger because I want to call it what it actually is. It's a takeover. And I want to make my opinion very, very clear on this. This represents free market capitalism without regulation, and it should not be allowed. It should not be allowed. Like, this is all thanks to the current administration's support of deregulations, and in this particular case, deregulating media conglomerates. And a single corporation should not own that much stake in an entire industry. Like Nexstar, as its employees kindly used to call it, Death Star. I'm a one-time Nexstar employee myself. But Nexstar will now own 265 stations in 44 states, representing 80% of U.S. households. That far exceeds the previous rule of 39% limit for any group ownership of stations. And supporters of this say that, it's good for big tech. It diversifies distribution, and they've been pushing for the FCC to do away with these past limits. For example, locally now, what this means is Local 24, or I feel bad. I call it Local 24 all the time. I think they go by 24, Memphis 24. I don't know. It'll always be Local 24 to me. They're now owned by the same company that owns WREG. ABC 24. Thank you, Jacob. ABC 24 is now owned by the same company that WREG is owned by. And in the past, you could not have two stations in the same market owned by the same ownership group for a multitude of reasons. One, this provides absolutely zero competitive advantage for reporters or for employees of these stations, because in a just functioning world, you don't get paid correctly or fairly at one station and you say, hey, well, over here, this company is paying such and such. I'm going to go get my worth. Now, that's already a whole hubbubaloo because of non-competes and how contracts work in local news. But this will set low wages for journalists. It will dictate news jurisdiction, where one company is controlling a huge monopoly of how the news is being done at these various stations. And it's just not good. Like, I just don't understand how we got to this point where we're not all universally pretty perturbed at what this means for local news. I'm obviously an ex-local newsie. I care a lot about the industry, and so I saw this morning, and it bummed me out. And a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. I should have said that first. This is going to decimate newsrooms of really talented and invested journalists, and this is already an industry that has lost so much. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox.
Well,
Sorry.
no, you could stay on it, because this is something worth being on the soapbox about. The whole point of this capitalism thing, I thought, was to have a lot of different types of product in the market, and then you let the consumers decide with their dollar, their attention span, what have you, which one they like, and you just keep it going. And routinely now, seems like once a damn week almost, another one of these deals is happening, be it Kroger and another grocery store, or this TV deal, or what have you, where it is, that shouldn't be allowed. Yeah. That is absolutely creating a monopoly. They're going to hold such a significant part of the market. It's going to be impossible for anybody else to come in here and give us something different. So if you're the only one, if you're 80% of the viewing market, right? Like, if that's what this deal is going to be, you're 80% of that, what's your incentive to be good?
There is none.
You're the
you
only
will be
place
cheaper than you've ever been.
You're the only. That's the only place that you can. Hey, Mike, that's the only place where we're going to get the news locally now.
Yeah.
So what's your incentive to be good? What's your incentive to be accurate? Even if you're bad, it doesn't matter, because you can say, well, suck it, we're the only ones. Where else are you gonna go? Not only that, but like you said, people are gonna lose their jobs, because why do we need all of you? We don't. We can just overwork and underpay a handful of you, and then we'll keep it pushing that way. And then when we look up in a couple of years from now, decade from now, what have you, we're looking around like, yo, local news has gone to hell in a handbasket. Why is that? What happened? Well, this is what happened. This is the why. Like, this is what happened. This is a defining moment right now, and we might not be realizing it in the moment, but this is absolutely going to be why local news is down in a couple of years, because of this right here. You can't be allowing monopolies to form, man. You just can't. You got to step in and break that up.
Sigh. And for people who are like, oh, well, maybe it'll all work out. You know who will it'll work out for? All the executives who will get a really nice either package in their goodbye to the company. Thank you for your service. We don't need you anymore, but here's a hefty amount of money. And then all of those journalists will get absolutely screwed in it. And the new ones, or the ones who continue, will make less wages than ever before. And
where are we supposed to go for news stories now?
I mean, I don't want to be like, you should still be going to your local stations. Okay. The thing with Nexstar, one of the things with Nexstar is they also own a group called News Nation, and like objectively, News Nation is not objective news, but they are trying to make it seem as if it is this like fair and balanced, national, syndicated, local news focused or local news intended. That's not even intended group. But you still have, I mean, here locally, I don't know what this means at this time for ABC 24 and for WREG, but you still have WMC. Fox 13 just got sold to a new group too. So you at least still have stations. You have, as I mentioned, two really great publications in Commercial Appeal and Daily Memphian. I don't know. It's for something that an industry that myself, my husband, we as a family were so passionate about having a place in long term, and had a lot of classmates who felt the same way. And to just see what's happened is really disheartening, because you are making it really difficult for that to be an industry that people positively seek out to do for their lives for a long time. And it takes experience to do things well, as we know with various industries.
And we need accurate reporting, especially at the local level. And not to get off of this topic too far, unless you're ready, but one of the great failures, one of the most frustrating things about watching the Hurricane Katrina documentary, it's on Hulu. I think Nat Geo did it, but Hulu, Disney Plus, sit down, watch it. It is, I think, 5 episodes, maybe 6 episodes. I'm through 3 of them. And media coverage was one of the things that damned the city.
Yep.
The levees, the shoddy ass levees, awful, terrible, atrocious. Mother Nature, does what Mother Nature does in that situation. But the way the media covered what transpired was awful. And going back to this, what is the incentive for you to go out there and try and accurately report on something happening if there's no competition? You can just get on TV and let fly with whatever scandalous conspiracy theories you want to let fly.
Can I add one layer to that? Sometimes it's not even trying to let conspiracy theories fly. It's because you're so under-resourced that you don't have enough reporters to do proper vetting of stories. And you have really well-meaning reporters, but if they are bogged down in a story that large and don't have the resource or the backing or the support to help them investigate appropriately, one person cannot solve all these problems. One reporter cannot tell every story within a city. One reporter can't tell every story of a specific beat in a city sometimes, and something like Hurricane Katrina. So you're saying this documentary made you cry, which you very rarely admit on this here show. I say I'm out here crying left and right. I've cried like 6 times this week. No, just kidding. That's really aggressive. That makes it sound like I'm not doing well. I'm doing just fine.
But maybe you crying, and that's what make you do well. There's a story in episode 3, I think it's right at the beginning of episode 3, about a baby, and that one got me. They show how they're able to show this. I'm not really sure what the guidelines are, but I know there is one clip, at least one, of a body floating face down in the water. The frustration with the way that it was all handled. I've forgotten a lot of this stuff. Like, I've forgotten almost a fair majority of it. I know that it made me feel bad at the time. I know I was upset about it at the time. But the fact that the command center is in Baton Rouge, and what the command center is doing while people are struggling, starving, dehydrated, dying in New Orleans, the days after Hurricane Katrina, like, all of that came back and was real overwhelming for me as well. Katrina, for me, was my first, and I wasn't grown. I was 17, but I was in college, so it felt like I was grown. It was my first like national story that changed the way that I viewed everything. I lived through Oklahoma City bombing. It didn't affect me. I was in like first grade, second grade. Now, it didn't affect me directly, and it didn't change the way I thought about things. I was in middle school when Columbine popped off. I'm in middle school in Tennessee. Right. Columbine is in Colorado. Very different so it's like, oh, that may as well be on Mars for me. That's not going to change anything that I do. People will point out, hey, they're in trench coat mafia. I was like, what's that? That's at Columbine? Okay, whatever. They're not going to do nothing, right? So I was alive for that. 9/11, another one. I lived through 9/11. I remember being called into the assembly for people to let me know that planes that flew into buildings in New York City, and then the one that hit the Pentagon. I remember being there for that. I had classmates who had family in New York who worked in the World Trade Center, but it wasn't me. It didn't affect me like directly. I didn't like change up anything personally. Katrina happened. I'm in college, my first semester freshman year, and there's a strong Louisiana contingency. There's a strong New Orleans contingency. And seeing my classmates cry as they look at the Google images of where their house was, where their dog was, and seeing it all underwater and showing us, it's like, man, that hurts. Your heart breaks for them. This is supposed to be the happiest moment or one of the happiest moments of their young lives to this point, because they made it. They're in college. It's freshman year. We're all excited about starting classes together, getting to know one another, kicking it at parties and whatnot, things you do at college. And here this person is real melancholy, doesn't want to go out because everything that they have is in that dorm room. They don't have any home to go to. And I remember that being like, okay, well, this is bad. This affects me. I don't like that a whole lot. And then the way that they reacted to the people doing what was necessary to survive. You're not going to give us food. You're not going to give us water. Okay, we'll go to the stores and we'll just take it. And y'all will just have to do what you do from there. Very reasonable to me thing to do as a person. Where it is, all right, my baby, my newborn, my 6-month-year-old is crying because we don't have formula for it. Yeah. Well, let me go into this grocery store, take some formula, take some water so I can feed this baby. And if you got a problem with it, then I guess you just gonna have a problem with it, all right? Like those types of things logically started connecting in my mind to form and shape the world as I try and move through it today. It's a really, like we are 3 episodes in, and it's like, hey, this has got to be a weekend type of show, because during the week, it would be too heavy of a thing to sit down and watch during the weekend after going through a long work day and then having another long work day to go to. It's really, really good.
I remember we were in New Orleans for something, and I can't remember what it would have been, but we had a tour with a ex-police officer in the city. But he drove us around we were there for some sporting event. Oh, I think it was the 2007 Sugar Bowl when Hawaii was there. And so this would have been, because that was 2005 or 6? 5. So 2 years after. I remember it was a significant time after. And I was like, why would we be taking a tour? I was in high school, so you're learning these things and trying not to be a little brat when you're on a family vacation. I was like, why are we taking a tour of the Hurricane Katrina aftermath 2 years following, and the devastation that still existed in that? Like, it was a radicalizing moment for me as a high schooler, growing up in a little suburban bubble in Denver, Colorado, and going and seeing the lack of attention and the lack of help. And a lot of help I don't want to dismiss the aid that eventually did help rebuild that city, but it took so long, and so many communities, they helped a lot of the rich communities. So many of the poor communities in New Orleans were just decimated. And just nothing, just skeletons of houses with markings on the door of how many people should have been in there. And there were certain markings that would tell you if someone was dead inside the house. And it was just like a haunting situation that stays with me to this day. And I think it's one of the reasons I have not been able to turn on that documentary. I will watch it eventually because I think it's an important thing to see. But it just, it makes me sick to think about all that was lost and just the truly atrocity that happened following a natural disaster there.
August 29th is the 20th year anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. That's why this one is out. And there's one, I'm not sure if it's a documentary or a docu-series on Netflix, but there's something also coming out either this week or next week on Netflix. And just hearing the people, because they talk to people who were in it. You survived that terrible hurricane.
Oh my God.
And then you have to deal with
That's
the
why I can't
levees
imagine.
breaking. And
can't.
then you have to say, all right, what is the game plan? Well, there really is no game plan. It is a massive failure at the local level, at the national level, and from a media coverage standpoint, right? There's a part in either, I'm pretty sure episode 2, maybe episode 3, where it's clear that the levees have broken. And the media is like, yeah, it's not that bad. We're standing here on Bourbon Street and you hardly see any water. New Orleans is going to be okay. And it's like, did you guys not like look anywhere else other than what was directly in front of you? Did you not start listening? People are now coming through the Superdome. The size of the people at the Superdome is increasing. Did you not ask somebody, hey, why is it increasing like this? And then there are, I don't want to give too much away, but there are some stories that pop up that make it seem like New Orleans in that moment was lawless and that there was a bunch of murder and rape and pillaging going on. That just wasn't the case. And it made people who had the ability to help, the people behind the buses to come in, the people in the helicopters flying over to help people, those stories made them fearful and made them decide, yo, we're not going in there. It's a hellhole. And that just adds to the time that those people, the people in New Orleans, had to wait to get actual help. And you use the word radicalized, and that's the word that best describes what happened to me in that moment. Like, that was a radicalizing moment for me. And it's so sad, it's so intense, but it's great. It's one of the best things I've seen all year.
In a very other uplifting thing I watched on television this week that I would recommend going back and finding, 60 Minutes on Sunday did a piece on the families who still have not received confirmation on the remains of their loved ones from 9/11, which is something I had never thought about. Never thought about. There are families who, to this day, because of the rubble and the devastation, they were never able to identify through DNA or other, I mean, obviously everything goes through DNA at this point, but like bone fragments or whatever you're finding, have been able to tell these families that this is the remnants of their loved ones. And it was such an interesting watch to me because we are watching the show The Leftovers, which is the whole premise is that, you know, a certain number of the population just poofs, disappears. And I thought about it from the standpoint of like from 9/11 or natural disasters in the sake of Hurricane Katrina, the number of people who just went missing and were never found. And what that does to grief versus, and it's so interesting how we as people and just psychologically adapt to loss. And why, if you like have a body, that means something different than if you are left in this ambiguous, oh my God, this person was never found. What if they are somewhere? What if they did end up somewhere? Like, what if some conflation of circumstances led to this person surviving this incident and I've never known? And just not having a body allows your brain to do things like that. And that was one of the things I cried on this week already, because listening to the families that they interviewed was just heart-wrenching. And I had not ever thought that there's like thousands. There's thousands of families who have still not been able to, with 100% accuracy, told this was the remains of their loved one in 9/11. Anyway, it was a great piece by 60 Minutes, speaking of good journalism that I hope stays as good journalism. As for The Leftovers, because I'm not going to be here, I have 2 episodes left of The Leftovers, so I cannot definitively speak on it as a show, because maybe they crashed the landing, like Game of Thrones, but if they stick the landing, I'm willing to call it top 7 best shows of all time.
Game of Thrones crashed the whole season.
Yes.
So as long as it's not absolutely abysmal.
Or, okay, Lost.
Okay.
Although the older I get with Lost, the less angry I was at how Lost ended. Okay. But I always say like top 7 because I have a very clear top 4.
All right.
Like my top 4 is distinctly Mad Men, Sopranos, Breaking Bad, and I Love Lucy.
Gotcha.
That is my top 4.
I
and
love
then like
Lucy getting in there.
But best sitcom of all time. Set the bar for everything. Then like 5 through 7 is like a fluctuation of like really, really good, close to being. Like, I don't feel confident saying a top 5, right? Because that like 5 through 7 kind of fringes. So I put The Leftovers right now with 2 episodes left in that realm. And then my 7 through 10 is like popular things I really love, not necessarily critically acclaimed. Like Desperate Housewives would probably make my top 10 favorite shows. Or like Scandal, one of those 2. Because they meant so much to me in my TV viewing and like becoming a fan of television. But The Leftovers is awesome. It's weird as hell. many people wouldn't like The Leftovers. It's a story of the absurd, and I don't mean like, oh my God, that's so weird. No, like it's absurdist. It's a lot of is this real, is this not real, philosophical questions of life and death and everything in between, literally.
Lee Evans is in the chat. He says it's the most affirming finale
Oh my
in
God.
TV history.
Stop, don't get me excited. Don't tempt me with a good time to watch 2 in one night tonight. Is there preseason football? No, it's Tuesday. There's nothing on.
I don't know
Maybe
the
I will
preseason
watch
football
too.
schedule.
I was
What are
just
you
joking.
talking
I was just
about?
joking. If there was something better than the most affirming, life affirming. The show is, I wouldn't call it life affirming, but it's like a big life examiner. I'm left thinking about a lot of things, life related, death related, in a very, I wouldn't call it a fun way, but deep and engaging way. So I can't stop thinking about it. I'll let you know how it eventually ends. But I hope everyone has a great rest of your Tuesday. We'll be back tomorrow live from the University of Memphis. We will have Ryan Silverfield pretty close to the top of the show. So excited to talk to Coach Silverfield about all the happenings for the team this coming season, get some information on a lot of these new players. Tons of transfers, tons of new faces. Tomorrow will be an opportunity to learn a little bit more about them all. We will see you then. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.
We got to go.
You have a meeting.
You got a meeting too, dog.